Sports Rap Podcast. You know where to find me. Tune in. Facebook. Facebook Sports Rap Podcast is the group page. You know where it is. Going through a little technical difficulties right now, but I'm going to get that fixed. But nonetheless, we have to talk about the Duce Staley situation. Duce Staley was interviewed by the Philadelphia Eagles for the vacant head coaching position. I didn't think that he would get the position initially. I felt like he would get an interview as being the quote-unquote minority interview that they seem to have to do now. So I think they did it in-house to satisfy the bigger wigs within the NFL and things of that nature. Also, I felt like it was done so that they could try and get ahead of the media in that situation, if you will, or get ahead of themselves in that situation where they wouldn't catch a lot of flack about people saying, local media saying, oh, they didn't give Duce a fair shot. And again, it still turned out that way. They didn't give him a fair shot. And thus, he has asked out of his deal with the Philadelphia Eagles to move on to bigger and broader opportunities. I, for one, do not blame him for that. It's pretty stunning that he did not get a longer look in that situation. I mean, he's been here with the team. He knows the team. A lot of the team respect him and they back him. So him not having that much of a shot or that fair of a shot, in my opinion, is really somewhat disturbing, because he has done a pretty decent job with the running backs in this situation here with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think that what needs to happen with him is he needs to be able to have an opportunity to coach this team here, do some things with this team. There are some things that I think he could get done with the players that are here, and just a fair shot because of his loyalty and what he's done and what he's meant to this organization. He has been around for a long time. And like I said, he has done some things with this team that really looks like they didn't really think too much of him or giving him the responsibility, or think too much of giving him the responsibility of becoming the head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I don't get it. I don't really understand how Duce was overlooked once again. Like I said, he got an interview before. Right now, folks, I was having some technical difficulties with the Facebook, so you can get me on Instagram Live. Did a little switch today. IG Live, at sportsrap_D is where you will find me. CC Dash, thanks for tuning in. Anybody else join in? We are definitely talking about the Duce Staley situation with the Philadelphia Eagles, who, again, in my opinion, I feel was not given a truly fair shot at the position. I think he would have been a very good coach. I think he did a very good job understanding and relating and utilizing the players that he had under his direct coaching staff. as far as the running backs. I mean, look at what Davis did. Miles Sanders, I'm sorry. Look at what Miles Sanders has done since he's been in the league, and it's all been under Duce. Again, I said it from the very beginning that the NFL has this thing where they have to interview minority individuals for open or coaching positions. I think the Eagles just did themselves a disservice by not being more serious with Duce. Also, a disservice in now looking, they have a very good coach who was loyal to the organization, loyal to the players, was respected by the players, that will be moving on or that wants to move on. And that's something that really shouldn't happen. So we see, yeah, CC surprised he held this long. Yeah. And that's what I mean with his loyalty to the coaching staff that was there, to the organization, to those young running backs that were there. Should have gotten a better shot, a more lengthy look at him being the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. So that is that, and we'll see what happens with this new staff as they are assembled and as they come together and begin planning for the draft and then training camp and all of that jazz up until next season. Now, I have to get to my boys. You see, I got my gear on. I'm probably wear this every week, though, but I've got my gear on today, and I definitely have to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. They are, right now, 12-5. They sit in first place in the Atlantic Division. The best record right now, the number one team in the Eastern Conference. And that puts them in the Atlantic Division, well, in the conference, rather. They have a 2-game lead on the Milwaukee Bucks, a 2.5-game lead on the Celtics, Pacers, and the Nets, who were arguably, I'm talking about the Nets, who were arguably set or talked about to be the leader, run away with the East, even before they acquired James Harden. But we see that's not the case. So that's another story for another day. So Sixers are 12-5. Again, like I said, playing very good ball. I had told people in the beginning that I liked the new coaching staff. I liked the urgency on both sides as far as getting that done between the Sixers and Doc Rivers. The Sixers pouncing on that opportunity once he was fired, knowing what he could do in the NBA, and also Doc wanting to interview and wanting to take this job, which says a lot for the players that he saw as an opposing coach within the NBA. And I think the urgency of the Sixers reaching out to him immediately just made it even more enticing. But we see how the difference in a coaching staff, what it has done for several players. First of all, you make the coaching move, and then you bring in Daryl Morey, and immediately there's ties to Houston and James Harden and yada, yada, yada. And like I kept mentioning to you, Doc was saying that none of that talk was coming from the Sixers, so until you hear it from them, pay no attention to it. Thus, we have it. He was traded to Brooklyn, and he's not here. There's also been rumors that Daryl Morey had explored other trade possibilities, but they were nulled or shot down or disagreed with by the head coach, Doc Rivers. And understanding that these two gentlemen have a pretty good relationship amongst each other. So that's part of why some of the things that went on. So they they hired Coach Rivers. He brings in his staff, very good staff, as that he has assembled. Then they bring in Daryl Morey as the GM to help him brand and because of Daryl Morey's history. Okay. First thing takes place is the moving of the horrible contract of one Al Horford. Now, don't get me wrong. You can't blame Al Horford. It's what he asked for. Somebody gave it to him. He signed it. No big deal. Can't blame him for that. But that was one of the first things that was done. That contract was moved. You bring in a shooter, a champion, a player with championship pedigree, and Danny Green, who can also play some defense, solid defense. Then you make another trade, and you bring in another shooter, Seth Curry, who's does a little bit more than the past in Josh Richardson. Okay, kind of fits a little bit better with the skill set and the things that Joel Embiid can do. And you still have Ben Simmons, and you still have Tobias Harris, who now is playing for the coach who had him on the way to arguably an all-star season, arguably the best season in his career when he was with the Clippers before he got traded to the Sixers. The difference that I see is the fact that the players are excited about the coaching staff. And again, it goes to me, in my opinion, it goes back to that word that I had been saying all last season throughout the playoffs with Brett Brown and the team: accountability. These guys were excited when they found out that Doc Rivers was going to be their next coach. Joel Embiid, after all the talk, appears to be in a lot better shape than he has been coming into a season. The way he has played so far this season, MVP talk now, but the way he has played leads me to believe that he's starting to get it, or he gets it. He's showing his full arsenal on both ends of the floor. And more importantly, he is being a lot more patient, making a lot more smarter basketball decisions on the offensive end of the court. And he's beginning to look a little bit better with noticing and passing out of double teams. He has more than one person now that he can be sure of that can knock down a shot on the perimeter. Okay. Shake Milton. Let's talk about him for a little bit. I was in a conversation on Facebook a couple days ago, and people said he might be going into the Lou Williams type of role. I don't think he's exactly there yet, but could be if he works at it. But I think the difference in his game this season as opposed to his last couple seasons is he now has a defined role. He now knows what that role is. He now knows what he's supposed to do when he's put into games. And that also goes with a lot of the other players now. They have definite roles, and they know what they're supposed to do when they're put out there. Dwight Howard has been a definite gem as far as being the veteran and the leadership. Okay. I saw a quote the other day, and I forget who it was from, but it said that Dwight Howard is here, and he's doing what Al Horford was supposed to do last year for $25 million less. Also coming off of a championship season with the Lakers. The young kid, Tyrese Maxey, is coming along. He'll be a gem, I think, once he gets truly comfortable and familiar with the NBA speed. And again, Joel Embiid just picking the right spots, and just taking over games. I've seen him in games command the ball and command the spacing. If there was someone on that side, he's waving them away like, look, Let me work. Give me the space. Let me work. I got this. That's that's the leadership role that I wanted to see in him. And like I said, I think he's getting it now. He also has been one to say that he's having fun again. And we all know from the past, when he's having fun, he's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. So, arguably, definitely, yes, he should be in the MVP conversation right now. He's the current, I think, Eastern Conference Player of the Week. He is scoring points. He's had 38, 42, 33. But his efficiency has been very, very good this year. Like I said, he's not settling for that three. He's getting into that foul line extended jump shot if that's what the defense is giving him. I think he's become better at reading the defense and knowing. He's also looks like he's been in the film room, or the coaches have him watching film and understanding his opponents on given nights. I just like the fact that he looks to be in a lot better shape than he has been at this point of the season. And he is dominating where and when he needs to dominate, which is a beautiful thing for us as fans and for the Philadelphia 76ers. We move into the bench players, because I'm going to say this one person for last. The bench players. Matisse Thybulle, still trying to find his way, still trying to find the spot where he can be used. We know what Mike Scott can do. Again, Tyrese Maxey, the young guy, will get it. Furkan Korkmaz is back healthy, so he comes in and he does what he do. He has to work his way in. He's been out for about 3 weeks, so he's still working his way back in. And like I said, again, Dwight Howard, arguably the best backup that Joel has had his entire career here with the Philadelphia 76ers. Definitely owning his role as the backup center and being the veteran voice in the locker room and on the bench, on the sideline, and on the court when he's on the court. So very good signing there, if you will. Mike Scott, we know what he is. We know what he'll do, and we understand that. So I think that the bench is pretty good right now. You can always argue and say that you could still tweak the bench and get more production out of it, but we'll see what happens down the line. Now, last but certainly not least, I am definitely going to talk Ben Simmons. It's been the constant talk that because Brett Brown put him into the position of point guard, so to speak, he's the primary ball handler, that after 2 or 3 years in, a lot of people, because of the way that the NBA has changed, want him or are pissed that he won't shoot or shoot the three-pointer more so. My stake in this argument, I get it and I understand where you say you're frustrated because he won't shoot the ball, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But first, let's get the three-pointer out of the way. For me, right now, I really don't feel like, with everything else that he does so well, I don't feel like he really needs the three-pointer in his repertoire just yet. I think that can come later on down the line. But I do understand that also ties into the other side where if you're open at the three-point line, shoot it. I do get that part. Now, flipping back to the other side where he won't shoot what a lot of us consider shooting would be like the mid-range jump shot, things like that. He won't shoot those. He is a downhill type of guy, post-up type of guy. When I look at that, my thought process in this whole situation, and it's coming from position. Although the NBA is arguing that there's positionless basketball, position wise and coaching wise, I'm not going to say call him point guard. I'm going to go with primary facilitator. At that point, I need you to be able to shoot that mid-range jump shot. So I'm in agreement with a lot of people on that particular aspect where he just won't shoot. I need you to shoot the ball to loosen up some things. Yes. As my main facilitator, primary facilitator, I need you to do that. I am in total agreement with tons of people on that aspect. What I add in is not him shooting the three-pointer as well. What I add in is, as my primary facilitator, I need you to be able to, again, shoot that mid-range jump shot, shoot an open jump shot, and I need you to make free throws a lot more consistently than you had been. So, G-Hove, what's going on? So, particularly, I got this box score from the Detroit Pistons game, where it looked like down the stretch that they could possibly give this game away. Ultimately, they did not. But one of the things I want to point out is the fact that Ben Simmons ended that game with a total of 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. So he was 3 assists, 2 rebounds away from a triple-double, another triple-double. Pretty decent stats, okay? 11 of those points came in crunch time in the fourth quarter, people. Doing what he does, okay? I was impressed at his free throw shooting in that particular game. I think that's the best that he's shot since he's been here in like a particular single game. 10 of 12 from the free throw line. 5 of 7 field goals overall. Okay. I like that. That's where I see what he can be as far as a primary facilitator and part of this team. Again, do not get me wrong. I'm just giving you my other side of him not shooting the ball. I still want him to shoot the ball as well. Definitely want him to shoot the ball, because I know from playing and I know from coaching how him just shooting it, even if he doesn't make a lot of them, just shooting it and being willing to shoot it will open up other things for other teammates on that offense. And it will help everybody immensely in the long run. The other thing one of the other things to pick apart, one of the things that he does very well, he's a great defender. All NBA defender. Jeremy Grant, who signed free agent contract for some money. He got paid after his little stint in Denver. Signed, got some money, got paid. It'll help him get to the basket and space the floor. But exactly, Jehovah, that's exactly what I said. Jeremy Grant going into the Sixers game on Saturday, the 3 games before that, prior, he was averaging 25 points or more. Ben Simmons was guarding him for the majority of that game. Jeremy Grant on Saturday against the Philadelphia 76ers in 35 minutes, as due to injuries and other things, as their primary scorer. 35 minutes of play. 3 of 19 from the floor. 2 of 9 from three-point land. 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Totaling 11 points. Now, you could argue and say he had a bad night, off night. Wasn't that much of an off night. I think the length of Ben Simmons, the toughness of Ben Simmons, and the other people that were, and maybe Tobias a little bit, that were thrown at him, got to him a little bit. He took 19 shots. He made 3 of them. Okay. I'm not going to sway and swing to the side of him just having an off night when the 3 games before he was averaging 25 or more. I'm going to call it mostly Ben Simmons, but also a little bit of a team effort on defense to stifle that score. And he only shot 4 free throws. So that means the defense was very good. And a lot of it was due to Ben Simmons. And like I said, he took over, so to speak, in his own way in that fourth quarter, scoring 11 of his 20 in that fourth quarter. But again, he does so many other things so well that I understand when people get frustrated when he won't shoot the ball. I understand it. And like I said, I am in agreement with a lot of people in that realm. Like I said, I just have a different other aspect as far as other people wanting him to shoot the 3. I really don't need him to shoot the 3 right now. This is just my opinion. Like I said when I started out on Ben Simmons, I don't really need him to shoot the 3 right now. I mean, I think that's something that can come down the line. People may think real quick and want to chime in and say, well, Joe can shoot the 3. Oh, yeah, he can shoot it, but it's not the same issue. Okay, Joel Embiid can shoot free throws as well, too, because he knows he's going to have the ball, a lot of touches and a lot of opportunities to get to the free throw line, which he does, and he makes free throws. Although he missed about 5. He missed 5 the other night, but still, he got to the free throw line 17 times. Ben Simmons got there finally 12 times. Okay. The next closest person getting free throws for the Sixers was Tobias Harris and everybody else that had shot 2 free throws. So, again, Ben being that aggressive is a plus because we know he can pick it up on the defensive end. And he did that in that game, not just being aggressive on the offensive end. He picked up and got aggressive on the defensive end as well. So, again, we have to get him. And some of the shots he took looked like he was thinking about it being a jump shot, a legit jump shot as far as the form, which they weren't. But it looked like he thought about maybe this is where the spots where I should be shooting a form jump shot. So I'm hoping that Sam Cassell is starting to break through. Whatever Sam is doing is starting to break through to him and get him to see that a little bit more. But when he's aggressive like that, you have to live with that because he's going to get to the free throw line. And like I said, this particular night, he made the free throws. So we have to kind of live and die with that, him making them some nights and not making them other nights. But for me, he has to get better. He has to get more consistent in his free throw shooting. And he has to begin to shoot that mid-range jump shot. Like I said, if he shoots 5 a night, I don't care if he misses all 5 at this point. Those are shots that he has to take. Those are shots that the greats take. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. You can throw LeBron in there now. Those are shots that those guys take. Look at some of the guys that lived in that mid-range. Jamal Crawford, Richard Hamilton. Guys that lived, made careers, some championship careers in that mid-range game. And with Ben's size being 6'10", look at Kevin Durant, who can shoot the mid-range at a 6'11". At his size, at 6'10", imagine the possibilities. Imagine the possibilities. How that would open up some space for Joe, where Joe wouldn't see as many double teams as he does right now. It could be a plus for everyone. It could be a plus all the way across the board. And it could propel us to, or propel us one step closer to being where we want to be. Championship pedigree. I think we are getting there. It's still a long season. I think it's going to get better. We had this little hiccup, and everybody in the league had this little hiccup with the COVID situation where games have been canceled. Teams have not had enough players to play, and games have been postponed due to that reason. So I think the NBA is working on it. Like I said, I give them kudos for what they did in the bubble, and I said maybe they should have thought about doing that here. They have immediately updated and instituted other policies into their health and safety protocols. Some of the players didn't like it, but it needs to be done because of what happened in the situation where games were being postponed. All in all, the Sixers are rolling, looking very good right now. I like what I am seeing. And like I said, I'm only hoping and I'm confident that it will get better and we will see better, more consistency in that. As that comes up, tonight's NBA schedule. Sixers are at the Pistons again tonight. Raptors are at the Pacers. The Hornets are at the Magic. The Heat will play the Nets. The Lakers are in Cleveland to play the Cavs. The Nuggets are in Dallas to face off against the Mavericks. Spurs are in New Orleans to play the Pelicans. The Celtics in Chicago to face off against the Bulls. The T-Wolves are in the Bay facing off against the Warriors. The Thunder are at the Blazers. The Kings are at the Grizzlies tonight. That is your NBA schedule for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, little switch up, had some technical difficulties, so we moved over to Instagram Live for the second portion of the show. I will get everything fixed up and tweaked out, worked out, and get it straight for next week. As always, people, be great on purpose. Stay safe. You have been tuned into Sports Rap right here on Heat 100 Radio. It's your boy D, signing out. I'll see you all week on social media and next week right back here live in studio. One more time, shout out RIP, happy heavenly birthday to the one I call Dad. Heavenly birthday to you, Dad. Love you. I know you watching. I know you were tuned in. Love you. Happy birthday. And that is it, folks. Again, be great on purpose. Stay safe. And tune in to Sports Rap all week on social media. You know where to find me. At SportsRap_D on Instagram and Twitter. YouTube, Sports Rap TV. The podcast on iHeart, Google, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the Sports Rap Podcast. The webpage, sportsrapradio.com, and the group on Facebook, Sports Rap Podcast. It's your boy, signing out. Peace.